In a hidden valley, surrounded by sparkling waterfalls and luminous flowers, lay the secret village of the Crystal Fairies. The village shimmered with towers of pure crystal, reflecting the sunlight in thousands of rainbow colors. Tiny fairies flitted between the towers, their wings glittering like diamond dust in the morning light. No human had ever seen the village, for it was hidden behind a magical veil of mist. Among the fairies lived Elowen, a young fairy with wings as bright as the dawn. Elowen was curious, always exploring the edges of the village where the crystal paths met the wildflowers. One day, while chasing a golden butterfly, she discovered a narrow cave behind a waterfall. The cave glowed with an eerie light, unlike anything she had seen in the village. Hesitant but brave, Elowen stepped inside, her tiny heart racing with excitement and fear. At the center of the cave lay a crystal orb, pulsing with a soft, inner light. She touched the orb, and instantly, visions of distant lands and hidden magic filled her mind. The orb whispered to her, telling of a looming shadow threatening the valley. Elowen realized that the secret of the village was more than beauty, it was protection. She hurried back to the village to warn the elder fairies of the danger. The elders, with wings of deep sapphire and emerald, listened carefully to her story. They revealed that the orb had chosen her because of her courage and pure heart. "You must journey beyond the valley," said Elder Mirabelle, "to seek the Crystal Guardian." Elowen's eyes widened. The Crystal Guardian was a legendary being said to control the balance of magic. She packed a tiny satchel with starlight dust, moonflower nectar, and a map etched in silver. As she left, the village shimmered behind her, knowing she might not return soon. The forest outside was dense, with trees taller than the tallest crystal towers. Birds with feathers of flame and frost guided her path, singing melodies of ancient magic. She crossed rivers of liquid light, careful not to disturb the fish that glowed like lanterns. At night, she rested on petals of enormous glowing flowers that kept her warm. On the third day, she reached the edge of the whispering woods, where shadows moved with a life of their own. A voice called to her, "Turn back, little fairy, or be lost forever." But Elowen, remembering the village, pressed on, her wings shimmering in defiance. She met a fox with fur as silver as the moon, who offered to guide her through the shadows. The fox introduced himself as Lumin, a guardian of ancient forest secrets. Together, they navigated twisted paths where light seemed to vanish and hope felt fragile. At the heart of the forest, they found a bridge made entirely of starlight, leading to a floating island. Crossing it, Elowen felt the magic of the land resonate with her own energy. On the island, a crystal tower rose, transparent yet solid, glowing with the colors of dawn and dusk. Inside, the Crystal Guardian awaited, wings wide and eyes reflecting the cosmos. "I have been expecting you," said the Guardian, voice like chimes in the wind. Elowen bowed and explained the threat approaching her village. The Guardian's expression darkened. "A shadow born of forgotten magic seeks to consume your home." "Can we stop it?" she asked, trembling yet determined. The Guardian smiled softly. "Yes, but only by harnessing the light within the crystal orbs of your village." Elowen nodded, understanding that she must return with courage, wisdom, and unity. The Guardian gifted her a pendant, a crystal heart glowing with inner light. "This will guide you and your people," said the Guardian. "But remember, true strength lies in unity." She thanked the Guardian and began her journey back, Lumin at her side. On the way, the shadow stirred, twisting trees and sending chills through the forest. Elowen felt fear, but she clutched the crystal heart and pressed forward. She returned to the whispering woods, now eerily silent, as if holding its breath. With a deep breath, she called upon the magic of the land, whispering spells taught by Elder Mirabelle. Light sprouted from her wings, casting away the shadow that crept along the ground. Lumin held, and silver sparks flew from his paws, strengthening her light. Together, they pushed the darkness toward the edge of the forest, where it dissolved into mist. Finally, the valley's entrance shimmered back into view, glowing like a beacon of hope. The villagers rushed to meet her, their wings glittering with joy and relief. Elder Mirabelle praised Elowen's bravery and reminded everyone of the power of unity. Elowen held the crystal heart high, letting its light flow into every corner of the village. The crystal towers glowed brighter than ever, reflecting courage, hope, and love. That night, a festival was held, with fairies dancing under stars that shone like fireworks. Music of wind and water filled the valley, blending with laughter and joyful cries. Elowen felt proud but humble, knowing the journey had changed her forever. The golden butterfly that led her to the cave appeared once more, circling her in delight. She realized that magic was not just power, but also the courage to face the unknown. The elders decided to create a circle of protection around the village, powered by every fairy's light. Each fairy contributed their own sparkle, weaving a shield that could not be broken by shadows. Flowers grew in new colors, some glowing like sapphires, others shimmering like topaz. Waterfalls sang with harmonies that healed the heart and inspired courage. Elowen visited the crystal orb again, now understanding its purpose as a guide and protector. The orb whispered stories of past guardians, each chosen for their bravery and wisdom. Elowen listened carefully, absorbing lessons of patience, humility, and hope. Days passed, and the village prospered, with new fairies learning magic and kindness. She taught the younger fairies how to harness light and use it wisely. Lumin became a trusted friend of the village, guarding its borders with vigilance. Seasons changed, painting the valley in gold, silver, and emerald hues. During the winter, snowflakes sparkled like tiny diamonds, reflecting fairy laughter. Spring brought new blooms, and with them, festivals celebrating life and magic. Elowen explored distant parts of the valley, discovering hidden glades filled with glowing mushrooms. She learned that courage sometimes meant gentle understanding, not only battle. One morning, a new shadow appeared, smaller but filled with cunning intent. The elders recognized it as a test of the village's strength and unity. Elowen gathered all fairies and shared the lessons she had learned from the Crystal Guardian. Together, they created a plan, using light, music, and laughter as their defense. When the shadow approached, it was met with a blinding wave of crystal energy. Lumin led a charge, weaving through the darkness with sparks flying from his paws. Elowen followed, her crystal heart glowing, amplifying the light of every fairy. The shadow shrieked and twisted, unable to withstand the combined magic of unity. With a final pulse of light, it dissolved, leaving the valley peaceful and bright once more. The villagers cheered, knowing that together, no darkness could harm them. Elder Mirabelle declared that this day would be remembered as the Festival of Lights. Fairies of all ages danced under the stars, their wings reflecting every color of the rainbow. Elowen felt a warmth in her heart, knowing that courage and kindness had saved her home. She often visited the waterfall cave, learning more about the magic of the crystal orbs. Each visit revealed new visions, guiding her and the village toward wisdom and peace. Years passed, and Elowen grew into a wise and gentle leader among the fairies. She nurtured young fairies, teaching them courage, empathy, and the magic of light. Lumin became the guardian of the valley, patrolling the forests and mountains with care. The village continued to thrive, untouched by darkness, because the fairies had learned unity. Travelers from distant lands whispered legends of a hidden valley where crystals danced in the sun. But none could find it, for the magical veil kept the village safe from unworthy eyes. Elowen often flew to the highest crystal tower, gazing at the sunset, dreaming of adventures yet to come. One evening, she noticed a faint glow on the horizon, a new magic awakening. The crystal orb hummed softly, signaling that the village's journey was far from over. Elowen called the elders and shared what she had seen, and they prepared wisely. Fairies gathered, weaving their light into new shields and charms, stronger than before. Lumin scouted the forests, ensuring the valley remained protected. When the new magic arrived, it was not a threat but a messenger, bearing wisdom. It spoke of distant lands where other crystal villages awaited guidance and friendship. Elowen realized her village was part of a larger magical world, connected through light and courage. She decided to send envoys, spreading knowledge and unity among the hidden crystal villages. The fairies built magical bridges of starlight, connecting valleys, mountains, and forests. Elowen's leadership inspired young fairies to be brave, kind, and wise. Festivals now celebrated not only their village but the bonds with distant crystal communities. The valley flourished, magic stronger than ever, a beacon of hope in a world of mystery. Shadows never returned, for fairies learned to transform fear into courage and unity. Lumin often perched on the crystal towers, watching over the valley with proud vigilance. Elowen spent quiet evenings by the waterfall, meditating and listening to the whispers of magic. One day, a young fairy approached her, wings trembling with excitement and curiosity. "Teach me, Elowen," the young fairy said, "so I can protect our home as you have." Elowen smiled, remembering her own journey and the lessons learned from the Crystal Guardian. She began teaching the young fairy the ways of light, courage, and gentle strength. Together, they explored hidden caves, glowing groves, and secret streams filled with sparkling fish. The village continued to grow, its crystal towers reaching higher, reflecting hope across the valley. Fairies sang songs of magic and courage, echoing through forests and mountains alike. Elowen knew that the valley's true secret was not just crystals or magic, but love and unity. Every fairy contributed their unique light, forming a tapestry of hope and brilliance. When storms came, the village's light guided lost travelers safely home. And when shadows whispered at the edges of the forest, they found no fear, only courage. Elowen's heart swelled with pride as she watched young fairies grow into wise guardians. Festivals continued, each one brighter than the last, celebrating life, light, and magic. Lumin often danced in the air, playful sparks flying from his paws, delighting every fairy. Elowen finally understood that magic was alive, thriving in every act of kindness and bravery. One dawn, she saw the first light of a rainbow stretching across the entire valley. It was a sign that the magic of the Crystal Fairy Village would endure for generations. Fairies of all ages gathered, wings sparkling, to honor the harmony they had created. The crystal towers shone brighter than the sun, a symbol of hope, courage, and unity. Elowen whispered a thank you to the Crystal Guardian, knowing guidance had led them here. Lumin curled beside her, eyes shining with pride and loyalty. The young fairy she taught now fluttered beside her, confident and brave. Elowen knew that the valley's magic would never fade as long as fairies cherished courage and kindness. Every night, the stars seemed to dance above, celebrating the thriving village below. Even the flowers glowed with newfound brilliance, mirroring the fairies' joy. The waterfall sang melodies of gratitude and eternal hope. Elowen felt a deep peace, knowing her home was safe, magical, and loved. And she realized that sometimes, the greatest adventures began with curiosity and courage. The village of Crystal Fairies became a legend, whispered in tales across distant lands. Yet only those pure of heart could ever truly see it, shining behind the veil of mist. Elowen continued to guide, teach, and protect, her spirit intertwined with the valley's magic. She knew that shadows might return, but the unity of her people would always stand strong. Magic thrived not just in crystals, but in the hearts of fairies, young and old alike. And so, the Crystal Fairy Village flourished, hidden, radiant, and eternal. The valley whispered its secrets only to those who believed in courage, hope, and love. Elowen's story became a light for all, reminding every fairy that even the smallest heart can shine the brightest. And in the secret valley of crystal towers and luminous flowers, magic lived forever, unbroken and eternal.